Welcome to the Compass Method, powered by Purpose and Plants, where science meets soul and thriving begins when you find your true north. Hosted by Dr. Yolanda Rivera-Caudill, a double-board certified physician, mother of three, and founder of the Tiny Beat Lifestyle Medicine and Pediatric Clinic, and
Chelsea Dye, a certified lifestyle medicine coach, wellness strategist, and creator of Alchemist Untamed. This show brings the real science to real life, powered by our passion project, Purpose and Plants.
Each episode explores how small shifts in food, movement, mindset, and family life can create massive results. Together, Dr. Yolanda and I share a compass for better life, a grounded guide to plant-forward health, brain-body balance, and modern motherhood.
From pediatric wellness and family health to neuroscience, nutrition, and mindset mastery, we will help you pause with a purpose, align your habits with your values, and rediscover what it means to thrive.
Powered by Purpose and Plants, because thriving begins when you're powered by Purpose and Plants. Hi, friends. Welcome to the Compass Method, powered by Purpose and Plants, where science meets soul and everyday shifts, small everyday shifts, can lead to healthier and happier lives. I am Chelsea Dye, wellness strategist, lifestyle medicine coach, and entrepreneur, and co-founder of Purpose and Plants. And this is
Dr. Yolanda Rivera-Caudill. I'm a double board certified in pediatrics and lifestyle medicine. And I love to incorporate all those tips in the families to live healthier lives.
Using the lifestyle medicine principles, we give you tips, tools, and tricks to live happier, healthier lives, as we've said. So today we are delighted to have a wonderful guest. She is, both love her so much, and this is Kim Gusby with WSAV, and I'm going to let her introduce herself because she has far too many amazing titles.
Okay,
so
I'm going
Kim,
to try to keep it short. Kim Gusby, been here, a part of WSAV for the past 33 years, been in the business for 35
the longest
years.
standing anchor.
Yes, longest standing morning news anchor in the area. I am the proud mother of 4 children and 2 glam babies, Bailey and Brooklyn. Born and raised here in Savannah. I'm homegrown. I love the city. I love the community. I love the people, and I love telling their stories. So I think that's the short version of my life.
Yes, I was very impressed when we were researching what you've done. It was like, geez, I don't know if I can say badass.
I think we can say whatever we want.
It's a podcast.
So I'm impressive. And I was also identified with many, your history a little bit. Growing up, and you didn't have role models.
Yeah.
To look, the women and Black women especially, they were not on TV.
Yeah.
So that was something happened to me. I've never seen a woman doctor in my life before. I told you before, it was Julia sitting in front of that TV on the floor, W sitting watching Julia, Diane Carroll.
Yes, Diane Carroll.
And that was my inspiration. So it is so wonderful to see somebody have that track also. And growing up in the community where you aren't expected to make it out, you're literally the face of Savannah when you wake up. It is so fantastic. So when you look back at that girl, what do you think she should have known that was possible? What do you think would I tell her to that girl?
I think that I would tell that little girl to believe in herself more. Believe it or not, in the business that I'm in, I use my voice and I use my pen and my thoughts to help tell other people's stories, people who feel like they don't have a voice. And when I was growing up, I felt that way. I felt I didn't have a voice. I was very shy. I was very introverted. But then I realized later on in life how much of a difference you can make by using your voice for good and by elevating other people's voices. You mentioned not having many role models. I didn't have many role models on TV. I remember being excited because my grandmother loved the evening news, and Max Robinson was the first African-American male anchor for a national newscast.
Okay.
And he was one of my idols. And I got so excited seeing him on TV because I'd never seen anybody who looked like me do that job. So I would go into the bathroom and take the newspaper and read in front of a mirror because of Max Robinson. You know, so you just have no idea the impact other people will have on your lives. And of course, I grew up in the historic Carver Village community. We didn't have a lot back then. And at the time, I had no idea that this neighborhood was historic and still is historic. It was created back in the early 1940s for African-American professionals, people who had left the military, doctors and lawyers and nurses. And this was the first Black suburb here in the city, and I think in the nation. And with as many houses as it had. But I didn't find this out until about 10 years ago that I was living in a place that had so much history. You know, and they say it takes a village to raise a child. Well, Carver Village was that village for me. And
literally.
it helped raise me, literally.
Yes,
Well,
yes.
and so you brought up being a shy child. In a little bit of our research, we saw that there was maybe one person or a couple of people that helped to give you your voice.
Yeah.
And so tell us a little bit about that experience, how you transitioned.
Yeah, that one person, well, many people, but particularly my sixth grade teacher, Mrs. Helen B. Fletcher, and I tell her story all the time whenever I have a chance to speak to audiences, because Mrs. Fletcher was my, like I said, she was my sixth grade teacher, and she saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. I was very quiet, very introverted. I was the type of student, I was very smart, but I didn't speak unless I was spoken to. I didn't answer a question unless I was asked. So I sat there, you know, and even if I had a friend who sat next to me and they would try to, I would stay focused. I would not talk, you know? And she made me do something that I absolutely hated at the time. Back then we had these books. I don't know if y'all remember these books. They were these big books reading books that you would read every morning. And she would always choose me to read every day.
She wanted to get you out of that shell.
Yeah, but at the time I thought, she's picking on me. She's so mean. This is torture because I hate doing this. And look at me now. I'm reading aloud, not in front of a classroom anymore, but in front of thousands of people.
Right.
So she saw this in me, you know? And so she was helping to mold me into the person who I would become.
That's just incredible.
That is amazing. And we know the science says that kids need one adult that is a mentor and that takes care of you. You had your family too, but for some parents that have been going through a lot of struggle, one person, sometimes it's a teacher, sometimes is a relative, but that is so important. And paying it forward, you're paying it forward
And
in a big time.
I always say that every child needs a chance and a cheerleader. You know, because if you open that door and they have that one person or two people who really believe in them, who can push them sometimes when they don't think that they have it in them.
And that is so important because some of the people that care for them, because they want to help them, they shield them so much and so you don't suffer. And it's not what they need. They need to be pushed
out of your
with the
comfort
help
zone.
and yes, so that's wonderful.
And especially when it's not a family member, I think the beauty behind that is that sometimes we have mental resistance with the people that we're closest to. And so when you have the capacity to have someone step in and so that's
because many kids say, oh yeah, you say that because you're my mom.
Exactly.
Like what happened to my son.
Yeah.
Oh, but you're so smart. Yeah, you say that because you have to say it.
Yeah. Or as a parent, you can tell your child something 1,000,000 times and someone else can say that same thing and they'll go, oh yeah, and you're like,
yes,
I've been saying this to you for the past 2 years.
Yes.
Well, and that goes back to the idea that it does take a village to raise a family and to have a successful community. And community is one of the key components to longevity and real overall health. So it sounds like you had that amazing foundation from the very get-go.
I did, and it helps a lot with your self-esteem too, because my sixth grade teacher also told us every day that we were somebody, that we were going to be somebody, and she was hard on us.
Yeah.
But like I said, she wanted us all to
That's a true mentor.
And now I'm so grateful. She's passed away since then, but I'm so grateful to everything that she instilled in me. And I mention her name every single chance I get. I also mention my grandmother, of course, my mother, but my grandmother, she helped raise me because my parents divorced when I was 7 years old. My dad was in the military, in the Air Force, so we traveled around a little bit. When they divorced, we moved back to Savannah, moved into the home with my grandparents.
Yeah.
And my grandmother, she only stood 4 feet 9 inches tall.
Oh, she was so tiny.
She was so tiny, but she was strong in her convictions. She was the most lovable. Okay, we loved her so much. She was so nice, but she was also that grandparent. She didn't like kisses, certain things.
Right.
But she was that one person who I could go talk to. She lived to be 97 years old, and she was my best friend. And every time, once I, got into this business and I sat on the anchor desk, she would love when I mentioned her name on air because she thought that everybody saw her all around the world. So she would say, all around the world. So she thought she was famous. She thought everybody knew her.
That was so sweet.
I think that you probably have faced so many challenges and struggles throughout your career and, even throughout your personal life and motherhood. What kind of mental reshifts and reframes have you used to take you throughout all of these challenges and then help you succeed?
Well, my mother is a warrior. She's the kind of person who, if you tell her something, everything goes through her mind. Well, what's going to happen? And she thinks she has worst case scenario, and she gets so afraid and so scared. I try not to be that person.
Yeah.
When I face challenges, I go, what next? How can I cross this hurdle? How can I overcome this obstacle? And I think a positive mindset really changes the course of things when you go in thinking this can be done. Show me the path. If it's dealing with a medical issue, talk to your doctor. What do I need to do in order to make things better? What do I need to do to live a healthier life? I just think, and I do that with everything. I mean, I try not to worry about things. I try to be even keeled. I try to and when I do get overwhelmed now, I told you over the past few weeks, I walk a lot now, just breathe in that fresh air and try to clear my mind.
Learning what works for you.
Learning what works for me because, this has a lot to do with everything else.
Yes.
And if you're constantly worrying, just kind of deteriorate from the inside out.
And the funny thing is the brain itself is not smart. It believes whatever you put in there is like a software. I am capable. That's what your teacher was doing, putting that software in the kids. And if you say, I'm not worthy, I don't know, I'm not smart, your brain is going to believe it and it's going to act as such.
Yeah.
So that's the smart thing to do.
There's a saying that goes, whether I can or I can't.
You're going to be
It's the
right.
truth.
Yes, exactly right.
Yeah,
Right?
you're going to be right.
Yeah. Whether you believe it, if you believe you can't, you can't.
Yeah.
If you believe you can, you will. And you can.
Well, talk to us a little bit about, we know you're big with the buddy check and that you've had, tell us a little bit about why you're an advocate for this. And then if the other health challenges that, since we are about health and wellness, and then also overcoming, tell us about your experience with health and wellness. And
Yep.
Well, Tina Tyus Shaw started this program through our former news director who recently passed away, Kevin Brennan. It's called Buddy Check 3. He brought it from one of his stations in Florida and brought it here, and she became the face of this project. And it has been around for decades now, and it has saved countless lives because, as you know, early detection is key. And education is key. And I think it was last year, I joined her on one of her projects, and she followed me to get my mammogram, and I was telling her prior to that, I had a a couple of mammograms done, and they found something that they thought
It wasn't supposed to be.
Yeah, it wasn't supposed to be because I have thick breasts, and so I had to do all these other follow-up things, and fortunately it turned out to be nothing, but it's always good to stay on top of your health when you feel something's off or something's not right, to get that checked out. 2 decades ago, I had a situation where I wasn't feeling right. I felt this lump in my throat constantly, and it wasn't until I kind of put it off, went to doctors, and they tried different methods and stuff. After a while, you kind of go, oh, whatever.
Yes.
It's not.
It's in my head.
It's in my head. Yeah, no, this is going to be this way. Nothing's going to happen. And I was at a doctor's appointment with my grandmother, and her doctor, cardiologist, just walked in the room, not knowing anything about my medical history, and he goes, "You having problems with your thyroid?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it used to be an issue, way back then." You need to go check it out.
Sometimes God send those angels.
That was an angel. And that's what I called him. I called him my angel because right after that, immediately, I contacted my doctor, went in for an exam, and she goes, "Oh yeah, everything's okay. Everything's checking out." And I said, "Can you check my thyroid?" Yeah. And she did, and she went through this whole thing like, "Well, normally people your age," because I think I may have been in my maybe 30s by this time.
Yeah. Wow.
You don't have problems with your thyroid, you blah, blah, blah. Normally it doesn't affect, nothing serious happens, but we're going to do this. And then later on, it's like, oh, yeah, there is a lump there. Mm-hmm. Then it turned into, oh, yeah, let's do a biopsy. And then later it turned into, oh, okay,
it needs to come out.
yeah. And so we went through that process. And once we did that biopsy and things weren't looking good, everything went so fast, and like I said, I always try to have a positive attitude. I'm going, okay, so what's the course of action?
Right.
Mm-hmm. What do we do?
Yes.
What is this going to look like? And that experience taught me a lot of things. First of all, that the surgery went left for a while. And it taught me how, to live in the moment, like to appreciate life, because life is so fragile.
Yes.
But
and life and health is like, you never know.
Yeah, you never know, because things just kind of went crazy. And thank God I'm still here to tell my story. I mean, I have this, this evidence here that I call my testimony.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't notice it. They think that it's just a crease in my neck, but it's actually from surgery. Doctor did a good job sewing me up.
Really good.
I'm here. And here's another miracle, that I'm still able to talk and to speak, to be on air, because everything was so close to my vocal cords, and that's another thing that they were worried about.
Yes, and probably it would have been too late if that angel doesn't get in front of you.
You're right. Because by the time they did get in and do the surgery, and they had to remove everything because it was so diseased. Think about if I had waited, if I put that off.
I mean, and you brought up something which I think that as women, we, even if you try not to worry, you sort of discount your own personal sense. Like you might think, oh, I'm okay, I'm going to power through. Which leads us so often to not actually listen to our gut instinct. And that is the biggest challenge, I think, when it comes to health and wellness, whether it's mental or physical. And so you brought that up, and I think that's such an important point, that even 2 decades ago, you were listening to your own intuition. How do you manage to, you're in such a public position right now, how do you manage to stay grounded and listen to your intuition on an everyday basis?
See, that's the difficult part, because everybody needs something. And when you're in a position like this, and people see you on TV all the time, they think you can solve all the problems, and they ask you to do all the things, and sometimes you have to take a step back, which because of you, I am doing. I'm trying to exercise my nose a little bit more, and just kind of be.
That's an honor.
Because I was that person, not because I want to please people, but because I love this community, and there's so much work to be done, and there's so many great organizations, and people come, and I think that's why they come to me, because I'm always, okay, I'm doing 3 things that day, but I can squeeze this in, and I can do that, and at one point, it just got so much until I didn't realize it, but I was exhausted.
Yes.
And we had this one talent coach who came in one day, and we were talking just on a personal level about all the things I was doing, and she said, hey, listen, if you don't rest, your body's going to rest for you.
Yes.
Very
Your body's just going to break down, and it did.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And so now you have to really think about the things that you want to put all of your energy to and kind of scale back on some of the other things. They're all
Prioritize.
important, but yeah, you have to tell people,
Yes.
I really appreciate it. Thank you for the invitation.
Yeah.
But
Yes, yes. And then it's so important when you listen to your body. Our body is really, really good talking to us. We shut it down. I mean, for example, something so simple, you have to pee, ignore it. At some point, it's like, I really have to, but your body's been telling you for a while. So the same thing for us, gut feelings are there for a reason, you know? It's interesting because it has association with the microbiome and all that. So gut and brain connection, it's very real. So if we start listening to more, we will be healthier.
and you have to tell yourself too, like, if I'm taking care of all of these things because you want to be there and you put aside your health to take care of all of the things. But if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of all the things. You can't take care of your family. You can't do the things that you normally do. So you have to put yourself first.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm sorry, because that's something that I learned also, I mean, most recently. Yeah, because my kids, the kids are little, you're like all over the place and you work full time. Did it with 4. I did it with 3. I don't know, 4, but I would have gone crazy.
I don't know how you women, you are superstars.
Oh, I don't know, and then, but you learn. I'm learning that moment to go to the gym or that moment, that walk, it's not a pleasure thing. It's a necessity for my body, for my brain, for me to be a better person. That sleep time, should be sacred. Those are where we recharge our batteries and our brain and our creativity.
Well, and so in your health and wellness, so you're walking more and you're saying no, which is great. What else are you working on?
Okay, so I've always loved fruits and vegetables.
Yeah.
What's your favorite one?
Oh, that's so hard because I love, it's fall now. So I love like nuts. I love pecans.
Oh,
I
yeah.
love walnuts. I love cashews. I love, just pistachios, like any kind of nuts, and I love them in the shell. I don't love them like the processed ones that you get in the bag.
Right.
So I
The
like
real nuts.
I like the real nuts,
Yeah.
and and this is not good, but I could eat those instead of a meal. Like but I love them, and I love raw fruits and vegetables. When I bring my snack to work, because I used to not bring anything to work, I would get up because we get up so early in the morning, and then I would not eat breakfast, not eat lunch, and then eat dinner, which is not good.
Yes.
So now I just bring some oranges and some grapes to snack on in the morning.
Smart.
To start my day. But
Yeah.
I don't think that there's a fruit or vegetable that I don't like.
Oh, that's excellent.
Yeah, and so and one thing I have started doing over the past few years, several years ago, I stopped eating meat completely for about 2 years, and then I slowly started adding it back into my diet. So on Sunday is my meat day because that's the family dinner day. Everybody comes together, so I kind of eat my meat on that day. I will eat seafood, every once in a while, but the other days,
The protein comes from plants.
Yeah.
That's good. So, and that's what we recommend. Like there is a majority of the plate is based on plants. And then it's not that you have to completely ignore and do the other types of animal protein, but the plate should be always, your day should be filled with plants.
now if there's a birthday or a special occasion,
And that's fine. And it shouldn't be, we're going to talk about that in another podcast about those rules. But it's important that there is a balance. And you shouldn't feel like when you enjoy eating that cake, you enjoy that cake and eat it really good. But it's not like you're going to have that for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
But just as you said, your presence is the most important thing. So if you can actually be present while you're enjoying whatever you're enjoying, whether it's a fruit or vegetable, on your walk or having your cake, it makes all of the difference. And then our brain reads it in a different way as well. Stress eating, doing things that are out of obligation, they take away the joy. And so I think that's really important. What would you like to share with a young woman coming up as to how to make a way in this new world, this brave new world, based on all of your amazing lessons?
I think I would tell her to be confident, believe in herself. I mean, I think we all have imposter syndrome.
Oh, yes.
No matter
Yes.
what we do, we're thinking we're not good enough. We're not qualified. This person is smarter.
Yeah.
And that's just simply not the case. And so you have to instill in yourself, and this is something that I try to instill in my children, is that you have what it takes. You have to tap into that, and you have to feed that every day. And you have to start with positive thoughts and positive sayings to yourself. I can do this. Today's going to be a great day. I am worthy.
Yes.
And I am powerful. I can do
Talk to
all
your
things.
brain.
Talk
That conversation.
have that conversation with yourself, and have that conversation with others too when they
Yes.
try to dismiss you.
Absolutely. And the more that we can say it to one another as women, as humans, then the better off we are. Because when I acknowledge how bright you shine, I'm not taking away my brightness.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that internet does. I mean, the kids, especially younger girls, they compare themselves with other
Comparison
people.
is the thief of joy.
Yes.
Right? It is.
So, but if you do it, compare with yourself, how far I've been. Okay, this is what I've accomplished. I just have is a different mindset. Completely.
Yeah.
And one last question for 2026. Do you have one goal?
I think just to be a better version of myself. That's my goal every year. Is just to be, not to be somebody else, because there's only one you.
Yes.
Just to be a better version of myself, to be a better mom, to be a better friend, to be a better news anchor, to be to be the best that I can possibly be, and to pour into others, because that's so important. Some people forget where they came from. Some people forget, that giving back is a big part of us being here.
Yeah.
We all depend on one another, and it doesn't hurt you in any way to reach back and help someone else along the way.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Well, thank you so much.
It's an honor
I mean, we are so
put you,
honored
on
to
that side of being interviewed.
Wow, what a wonderful interview with Kim Gusby with WSAV.
Such a treat.
I'm so honored. And now we will have Dr. Yolanda give us a Spanish recap of the interview for all of our Spanish-speaking audience. And go ahead.
Yes. En español, el resumen en español para los que no entienden lo que pasó. Acabamos de entrevistar a Kim Gusby y un tremendo honor. La mujer, o sea, si yo sabía de ella y la admiraba, ahora la admiro más. Ella es la mujer ancla que lleva más años aquí en Savannah, en la estación de la televisión en la mañana. Ella además ha tenido muchos problemas de salud y a pesar de todo eso y 4 niños, cómo ella ha sabido maniobrar, manejar toda la situación de su vida, poniendo su presente, trabajando con el presente y poniendo su salud el que importa. No solamente es las otras personas, pero aparte de eso ella da mucho a la comunidad. Ella nació y se crió aquí y se ha quedado aquí. Y si pueden poner las letras que están al final del podcast para que lo puedan traducir, para que lo oigan, una entrevista muy interesante.
And thank you so much, Dr. Yolanda. Now that's a wrap for the Compass Method powered by Purpose and Plants. And once again, I am Chelsea Dye, and this is Dr. Yolanda Rivera-Caudill. And you join us to learn where the science meets the soul and how you can use all the tools that you have to live a happier, healthier life one day at a time.
Because you have them.
Yes.